Good morning. So while I'm president-elect of the state realtors, I primarily sell land and recreational property here in the central Kenai Peninsula, for those of you that don't know me. Also, last year I took a Realtor Leadership Academy. It was 8 days spread out over Alaska. And we did a lot of homework and other stuff. And one of the things that came out of it is they decided that I had the most boring PowerPoint presentation. So I'm sorry in advance. So a few fun facts. Cost of gas in 1972 was 36 cents per gallon. Currently it's 4.49 national average there. A median family income was $11,120. Currently it's $67,521. Median sales price of a new home was $27,600. Currently $336,900. I don't know what all that means, but I think we're spending a lot more for houses, gas, than what our grandparents and great-grandparents did. So some of the first stats, average and median sales price. The average sales price increase for this year was 14%. Normally we see a 2 to 3% increase year after year, and that's a pretty large increase. Median sales price was 12%. I know probably most of you in here know the difference, but the average, you just add them up and take the average. Median, you get rid of the high and low until you get to the middle number. So that middle number of $274,500 is an actual sale. So that was residential. Probably the most telling here was days on the market and number of solds. Number of solds were a 40% the days on the market, were a 40% decrease and a 21% increase in the number of houses sold this year. That is a very large number. I know Tim talked about it a little bit, but I gotta say, I have never not returned phone calls before, and this year I didn't return a lot of phone calls. And I talked to every one of my realtors in the business, and we were all the same way. It was so crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I know personally, if you were to do my personal calculations, I did basically 2.5 years business in 1 year. And I hope this year will be different, because I don't like doing business that way. So I did do some stuff with compared with the state stuff. So Central Peninsula was 308. Homer and Anchor Point was 336,000. Seward and Cooper Landing was 352,000. One of the problems with Seward Cooper Landing area is a lot of the real estate companies in Seward are not on the MLS, so it's challenging to get stats from there. Most of the stats there were from the Cooper Landing Moose Pass area. Days on the market, 46% decrease for the peninsula, 55% decrease for Homer and Anchor Point, and a 35% decrease for the Seward Cooper Landing area. So the average sales price increased 12%. State of Alaska was 10%, so we did better than the state. Days on the market, again, we did better than the state. Much bigger reduction than the state. Some of the challenges that we had on residential, we've always heard about Anchorage on homes and the problems that they have with multiple offers and the challenges with people buying, and that finally hit the Kenai Peninsula. And I could probably talk quite a bit about the learning curve that realtors on the Kenai Peninsula had with multiple offers. I can tell you the first thing we learned is everyone would do accelerator clauses. We will pay $1,000 more than the next highest offer, up to $40,000 over the price of the house. Well, the problem is the house won't appraise for that. So, that was a learning curve for everyone there. So then the next tricky thing that everyone started to do was pay all of the seller's closing costs, including the commission, to try to make the net to the seller better, and the appraisal would still come in hopefully somewhat close. I would say now that a lot of appraisals that have come in around the Kenai Peninsula are coming in at the higher values that we've seen, so we don't have quite the challenge. Real estate has slowed down this winter a little bit, so I'm hoping that this year will definitely not be anything like what it was last year. So this is land stats, average sales price. You know, I almost hated to even include this slide in here because as you can see over the last 10 years, there's nothing really to tell about it. It's up and down big time. Nothing really stands out, but average sales price is $51,000 and the median sales price is $28,000. Number of sold though, huge difference. 74% increase on land sold this year. The number of total land that was on the market was 950,000. It's now 374. I'm sorry. It was 900. We had 950 pieces of land on the market. We're down to 374 pieces of land on the market. So our inventory really sold off like crazy this year, and you can see it with that high number. Days on the market came down some, but not as much as you might think. Probably the biggest problem with days on the market is I know I personally have a lot of land that had been listed for a long time that finally started to sell, and that probably kept the days on the market up. I think next year when you take a look at the stats, I think you're going to see days on the market for land probably down to under 100. I wouldn't be surprised. So average sales price of the Central Peninsula was 13% higher. Homer and Anchor Point, 13% higher. Seward and Cooper Landing, that just had to do with not having enough staffs. Days on the market came down 21% in the Central Peninsula area. Homer and Anchor Point actually went up a little bit, and Seward and Cooper Landing went down a little bit. So Peninsula versus state land, we saw a 17% increase. State of Alaska saw a 13% increase. And then days on the market, all of us, state of Alaska did better, but the Kenai Peninsula, 18% decrease. So let me get to there on my notes so I don't have to look up there. So thoughts about 2021 residential sales. So we saw lots of multiple offers. I talked about that. We saw people from Anchorage and the lower 48 moving here, quality of life, hot job market. Changes in the real estate industry with more agents working from home. This has been kind of a big deal. We sold our company a year ago to Keller Williams. Keller Williams has a way of working online. Everything's done online. Other companies are doing that, have their own programs that they do. And so there has been a lot more working from home or anywhere that there's an internet connection. Title insurance, Tim touched on that a little bit. It used to be 1 to 2 days for getting the title policy. It's been 2 months, anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks for title policies during the busiest of the times. They're starting to return to normal. They're getting down to about a week right now. So huge change. I imagine that'll go up again as we get to this summer. But yeah, it's trying to get property closed this year has been really tough. Thoughts about 2021 land sales. Some multiple offers, but mostly land just selling really quick. Lack of inventory, especially Kenai River and recreational property in general. People from Anchorage and lower 48 wanting recreational property and places to go to if things got bad. We heard that a lot. People from Anchorage that have been shut down due to COVID-19 that were buying recreational property here on the Kenai Peninsula just to escape Anchorage and have a place to go to. People were buying land sight unseen, just to own a piece of Alaska. And we were seeing buyers take their profit out of the stock market and invest in land. One of the best things that you can do for a hedge against inflation is buy real estate. And so a lot of people were moving money out of the stock market and into real estate. And I know you might not think that because of how well the stock market is doing, but I know there's been some studies that a lot of millennials are because you can't any other kind of investment doesn't pay very much. The stock market is kind of becoming the place to put money. So I do think we're seeing a lot of younger people putting money in the stock market. A lot of older people are pulling money out of the stock market and putting it into land. Crystal ball. So due to the inflation that we're supposed to be seeing, or that we are seeing, the feds are projected several increases. In fact, I just saw an article yesterday afternoon that the schedule that the feds were looking at raising interest rates, they're probably going to move up a little bit. That will help slow the housing market down just a little bit, and which is actually a good thing. What we saw this last year was really too crazy, and I'd really be happy to have a little bit of a slow leak. For some reason, this time last year, I was a lot more pessimistic about things and didn't think this boom that we were seeing was going to last. Now I think it's going to settle down into a little bit more of a dull roar and not be quite as crazy as it was, so that'll be good. This November and December have been relatively busy, but more so than most years, so I think we'll still have a good year. It's been kind of interesting, when we joined Keller Williams, Anchorage doesn't really slow down much in the wintertime, but we always have here on the peninsula, and we are seeing a slowdown, but nothing as much as we've seen other years. Most real estate agents are saying, please let there be a market crash, we need a break. I don't know if we're going to see that or not. And the funny part about realtors is if we do have a crash, then we'll all be whining again, but that's just kind of the nature of the business. Builders are busy also and have been having no problems lining up houses. I know we're building right now, and we went into it thinking we were going to be paying the high wood costs, but by the time they got done with dirt work and concrete work, the lumber prices had dropped down to pre-COVID prices, so we dodged a bullet there, but we were willing to accept that higher price and build. And builders are as busy as you can ever imagine. Most of the subs are really hard to get. Try to get a plumber right now with this cold weather and all the building that's going on. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.